In this lesson, we will learn how to graph a linear equation using slope-intercept form. I have got 8 different examples lined up for you. Some of these are in slope-intercept form like y equals mx plus b. Some have a negative slope that goes downhill. And few are actually tricky questions like horizontal lines where y equals a number and vertical lines where there is no y-intercept at all. So moving to our first problem, which is y equals 2 over 3x plus 2. So let's compare this equation with y equals mx plus b. So if we compare both these two equations, so it will give us m equal 2 over 3 and b equal 2, which is y-intercept. So the y-intercept is the point where the line crosses y-axis. At this point, the value of x is 0. So we have y-intercept which is 0, 2, and we have slope which is m equal 2 over 3. Remember that the slope equals rise over run. Here we have slope 2 over 3 means we have to rise 2 units and run 3 units. So remember one point, which is if the rise is in positive, we go upside, and if the rise is in negative, we go to the downside. And if the run is in positive, we go to the right side, and if the run is in negative, we go to the left side. Now we have y-intercept which is 0, 2. Let's plot this point in the graph. We have 0, 2, which means we have to move from this 2 point. This is the point where the line intersects y-axis, that is y-intercept, which is 0, 2. And using our slope, I'm gonna plot another point. So we start from here, this point. The rise is 2 unit, means we have to go 2 units from this point to the upside, and the run is 3 unit, means we have to go to the right side 3 unit, which means this point. Now we have 2 points. Now let's connect these 2 points with a straight line like this. Add arrow on the both end to show it goes on forever. So here is our solution. Now moving to the next question. So we have our next question, which is y equals negative 1 over 2x plus 4. So our first step is to compare this equation with the standard form of slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Now compare these two equations. It will give us m equal negative 1 over 2 and b equals 4. Now we have y-intercept which is 0, 4 here, and we have slope which is negative 1 over 2. So here is negative 1, means we have to move down 1 unit from this point. Now let's plot this point, which is y-intercept, which is 0, 4. So here we have 0, 4. Now using slope, I'm gonna plot another point from this point. So we have slope which is minus negative 1 over 2. Now remember that the slope is rise over run, which means we have to rise 1 unit which is in negative. So we have down 1 unit from this point, which is we reach this 3, and run is 2 unit. That means we have to move 2 unit from this point to the right side. So we can repeat it and draw another point from this point. So down 1 unit and move to the right side 2 unit. So these are the point. We have to add these 3 points with a straight line and add arrow to the both side of the line that shows that the line goes forever. So this is our solution. Now moving to the next question. So we have this question. Let's compare this equation with y equals mx plus c. If you see that here's the y-intercept which is in negative. So if we compare these two equations, it will give us m equal negative 3 and c equal negative 5. So our y-intercept point is 0 comma negative 5 and our slope is m equal negative 3. We can easily put 1 to the denominator of this. It cannot change the value of the slope. So let's plot the point which is 0 comma minus 5. So minus 5 means the point is here. Here's our y-intercept point. Now using the slope, I'm gonna plot another point from this point. So we have to move downside 3 units, and here we have no space, no room to go downside. So we can easily change it like this, 3 comma negative 1. We can rewrite it like this. It cannot change the value of fraction. These two fractions are equal. So here we have rise 3 units. So we have to go 3 units upside from this point, which means we have to reach this 2. And here we have negative 1 means we have to move 1 unit to the left side from this point. So here we have another point, and if we wanna draw another point from this point, repeat the same process, which means we have to go to upside 3 unit. We reach here, and from this point move 1 unit to the left side. So we have 3 points. Now let's connect these 3 points with a straight line and add arrow to the both side of the line. It shows that the line goes forever. So this is the solution. Here's an important tips. If your slope is a whole number like 2 or negative 4 or negative 3, remember to write it as a fraction by putting 1 in the denominator. So it becomes negative 3 over 1. We do this because slope is rise over run, and we need both numbers to know how to move from one point to the next. Now moving to the next problem, which we have y equals 5 over 4x. Now let's compare this equation with y equals mx plus b. So if we compare this equation, it gives us m equal 5 over 4 and b equals 0, because we don't have any number, so we can write it 0. So b equals is 0. So what is the mean of 0? It means that our y-intercept form is 0 comma 0, means that this origin. So this is the y-intercept, means that the line goes from the origin. So we have slope is 5 over 4. Now let's plot a point. From this point we have to move 5 unit from this point, which is here, and we have to move right side 4 unit, because we have run is 4 unit. So move 4 unit, which means here. Here is our next point. So first point is this and next point is this. Now let's connect these 2 points with a straight line. And add arrow to the both side of the line because it shows that our line is goes forever. So this is our solution, and I wanna tell you an important things that whenever we use y equals like any numbers with x, which is 4x, like any other number, we know that the y-intercept is 0, means the line goes from the origin because the y-intercept is 0 comma 0. So remember, always remember that the line we have when we have an equation like this, so this line goes from the origin. Now moving to the next question, we have next problem, which is 3x plus 4y equals 12. Now, first of all, this is an standard form of the equation. We have to change this equation with slope-intercept form. So, what is the slope-intercept form? The slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus c. So, we have to isolate this 3 and this 4. To isolate this 3 and 4y, I'm gonna divide 3x from both sides of the equation. So here 3x and 3x will cancel out and it will give us y equals negative 3x plus 12. So now we have to isolate this 4. So to isolate this 4, I'm going to divide the whole equation by 4 like this. So 4 and 4 will cancel out. So y equals negative 3 over 4x plus 4. 3 times 4 is 4 times 3 is 4 times 3 is 12. So 3 over 4x plus 3. So here is our standard equation. Now let's compare this equation with the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus c. And if we compare this equation, so it will give us y equals negative 3 over 4 and c equals 3. So we have y-intercept which is 0 comma 3, and we have slope is this. Now let's plot this point, which is y-intercept 0 comma 3. So this is the point where the y-intercept, which is 0 comma 3. Now plot another point from this point using the slope. So we have rise is negative 3. So we have to go down from this point 3 units down. We reach here, the origin point, and we have 4 as a run. So we have to move right side from this point 4 unit. We have reached here. Now let's connect these 2 points with a straight line and add arrow to the both side of the equation. It shows that our equation is going forever. So this is our solution. We can now let's solve this. 8x negative 2y equals 10. First, we need to rewrite it in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. Now we have to convert this equation into this form. So we need to y itself. So to convert this, I'm gonna subtract 8x from the both side of the equation. So let's subtract 8x from the both side of the equation. So 8x and 8x will cancel out. It will give us negative 2y equals negative 8x plus 10. Now I'm going to divide the whole equation by 2 to getting y by itself, because here is a 2 which is the coefficient of y. So divide the whole equation by 2. So here divide the whole equation by negative 2. So here negative 2 and negative 2 will cancel out. So y equals this negative and this negative will cancel out, and 2 times 4 times 2 is 8. So here is 4x, and here we have 5 times 2 is 10, so we have -5. So this is the form. Now we can compare this equation with y equals mx plus b. So here we have m equals 4 and b equals -5. So we can convert this slope form with putting 1 to the denominator to convert this whole number into fraction number, because we need it to draw the line with the help of slope. So we have a y-intercept which is -5. So we have y-intercept which is 0 comma -5. Y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So we have 0 comma -5. So 0 comma -5 is here. Here's our first point, which is y-intercept, and we have slope 4/1. So we have to move 4 units from this point to the upside. So we reach at 1 here. And from this, we have to move right side 1 unit, because in the denominator we have 1. So our next point is this. Now repeat the same process. Move upside 4 unit. We reach here, and 1 unit from this point is right. Now let's connect these 3 points with a straight line. So and add arrow to the both side of this line. So here is our solution. Now moving to the next problem. So here is our next problem, which is y equals -2. Now you can see this, this is a different form. We don't have x here. So we have to convert this equation in y equals mx plus c form. So y equals, it have no x, so we can write it like 0x -2. So this is the slope-intercept form. Now compare this equation with our standard equation, which is mx plus b. Now if you compare these two equations, it will give us m equals 0 and b equals -2, which is y-intercept. So our y-intercept is 0 comma -2. Let's plot this point, which is 0 comma -2. So this is our first point, which is 0 comma 2. Now we have we have slope which is 0. We can put 1 to the denominator to convert this whole number into a fraction number. So we have what is the slope means rise over run. So the rise is 0 and the run is 1. Means we don't move to the up or down side because it is 0, and we have to move 1 unit right side because run is 1. So move another plot another point from this point. So from this point we have to move 1 unit, only 1 unit from the right side. So this is our point, next point, and from this point this is our next point. So these 3 points, so let's connect these 3 points with a straight line and add arrow to the both side of the line. It shows that our line goes to far or infinity. So this is our solution. And if you notice that the line is in parallel with the x-axis, so whenever we see the equation like this, y equals -2, 2, or y equals 3, or any number, we have to understand that this is the line which is parallel to x-axis. So here is our next problem, which is x equal -3. So x equal -3, if you see it clearly, it shows that it don't have y, means it don't have any slope. So it shows that x equals -3, which is this point, which is x equal -3. Now let's connect this line, this point, with a line. So we have this line. This is the solution of this question. I'm going to add an important point here, whenever we have x equal any number as an equation, we remember that it is the equation of a vertical line. It doesn't have any slope. So the slope means rise over run. So we don't have run because it is a vertical line. We have only rise. So if a rise, if rise is 1, we have to divide this equation by 0 because we don't have run. So 1 over 0 means in mathematics is shows that it is undefined. So the slope is undefined. It shows that it is the equation of a vertical line which have no slope. Thank you for watching this video. See you in a next video.